Here they are, the Decibel duo, Greg Hartley and Peter Peters.
Welcome to Leichhardt Oval, home of the Balmain Tigers. Their line-up this afternoon, coached by Warren Ryan. Gary Jacks the fullback, Russell Gartner and John Davidson on the wings, Scott Gale and Ross Conlon in the centres, Gary Freeman's the 5'8", David Rolls the half, Wayne Pearce Jr. is the captain, of course, of Balmain. At lock forward, Paul Sirinen and Bruce Maguire in the second row, Steve Roach and Kerry Hemsley up front, and Benny Elias is the hooker. Here's Hollywood with the Bears.
Yes, and straight into the arms of Maguire that football landed, and he's put down immediately on his own quarter line by Graham. Now it's gone out to Davidson, on to Hemsley, and we've got a high tackle there straight away. And
the North Sydney side this afternoon, coached by Frank Stanton, Johnny MacArthur's fullback, Kerry Bosted and Andrew Simons are on the wings, Brett French and Greg Florimo in the centres, John Dorahy's the 5'8", Clayton Friend the half, Ian French the lock, Gary Smith and Gavin Jones in the second row, Mark Graham in the front row with Martin Bella, Tony Ray is the hooker, Peter Filmer's the referee, and now North Sydney just inside their own quarter after Balmain had kicked downfield. Here's Hollywood.
Yeah, Simons in possession, Ray at the dummy half position, out to Martin Bella, up to his own quarter line before he's knocked down by Roach. He'll get up and play it. Ray having a look at both sides. Gives a good pass out now to Gavin Jones. A strong burst up to the centre of the quarter line. Still North Sydney end of the ground, and he's put down. Ray again having a look. Clayton Friend running through. The ball goes back to Dorahy, who gets his kick from 15 metres out. Oh, he's been put down too. And cop one, and he's got for his trouble. Both touch judges followed that. Dorahy's up on his feet. The referee has also missed it, so the scrum is going to go down, and Dorahy is having a look at the touch judges too, Peter.
Yeah, Greg, I don't know whether there was anything there that warranted coming in. I think they took a look at it and decided that they were going to give the Balmain player the benefit. I mean, he was almost committed to it, and it's very hard to stop in midair. I don't think there was anything wrong there. There's a scrum freed by Balmain. Clayton Friend comes around quickly, but Balmain get the ball out to the 5'8", and there's the first penalty of the game right in front.
Yeah, he was offside, Peter, but now they've got a bit of a problem here with Roach, Pete. They're coming in from everywhere, but the referee's there. Mark Graham also in there with Benny Elias, and the referee trying to break them up now. He's done so, but the penalty still stands, and it's to the Balmain side centre field, 20 metres out from the North Sydney goal line.
And a quick tack taken by Benny Elias.
Oh, races up 10 metres out from the North Sydney goal line. Scotty Gale into the dummy half position. Looking for support, it goes out to Hemsley. He charges forward too, but again, strong tackling from Martin Bella over the top, puts him away. Benny Elias again at dummy half, and he's pinched Martin Bella for not getting off. Well, you couldn't get off much quicker than that, even if you rolled away.
Greg, I've got to disagree with you, and that's not hard for me, and it's only a couple of minutes into the game. But Bella had two goes there, and there's a bit of fire early in the game, and I think the young referee is going to insist that he's the boss early on, and I'm not going to blame him for that, as long as he's consistent. As long as he does it when North Sydney have the football. Sideline eye, best in the business from the Sydney Sun, Tony McGay.
Oh, exactly right. He's got to keep these people apart. That Gavin Jones was just buckled in half by a tackle there. It's going to erupt here in a minute. You can bet on it. Absolutely bet on it.
Two big packs of forwards, Tony, and they're going to rip in. That's where this game's going to be won or lost.
Oh, mate, Hemsley and Sirinen just hit Jones. It nearly broke him in half.
Okay, here's Ross Conlon. Here's Hollywood.
Yeah, 11 metres out, Conlon comes in now, beautifully puts the ball over the bar.
Yeah, all too easy for Ross Conlon, a kick like that, and that's 2 points that Martin Bella has got to make up for in this game. The game, 3 minutes old, and it's Balmain 2 leading North Sydney 0 at Leichhardt Oval. So a penalty goal to Ross Conlon, a simple penalty following a Martin Bella penalty there. Referee Peter Filmer giving the opening 2 penalties of the game to the Balmain Tigers.
Gary Jack taking possession from the recommencement, and the ball was chased through by Kerry Bosted, but we've got trouble again, as Tony did predict, and they're all over the top of Gary. Jack Bella's in there now. They're only pushing and shoving. Roach has got him by the throat. And
Steve Roach and Martin Bella, Kangaroo tour mates in 1986, and the two big fellows eyeing each other off, just pulling the jumpers, neither willing to take a backward step, and the big fellows are out for an afternoon here. The Bears and the Tigers, and certainly you're not going to see action like this at Taronga Park. The Bears and the Tigers ready to rip each other apart here at Leichhardt Oval. 2 premiership points up for grabs. The Mickey Mouse trials are over, and business is on in the Winfield Cup. While the cautions are on, let's go around the grounds on the National Panasonic scoreboard. Tony Peters at Caltex Field.
No score between Cronulla and Souths.
Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
No score, Penrith West.
And it's 2-0 in favour of Balmain over North Sydney here at Leichhardt Oval. Referee Peter Filmer comes in. There's the trifecta. 3 penalties in a row to Balmain. So North Sydney forwards very, very aggressive early in the game. And here we've got the side of Ross Conlon place kicking for the sideline. Well, Greg, I've never liked this when Jack Gibson brought it in. I suppose Conlon is a super boot. And
Super boot's right, mate.
Well, I think he could have kicked it that far if he punted it.
Well, he's made sure, but the tap's on with Elias. Goes out now to Freeman, back to Rolls to Freeman. Freeman on the wraparound and coming through too. On the burst was Conlon.
I suppose the point about that, it could be to give Ross Conlon a chance to have a bit of goal kicking practice before he actually has a shot at the uprights. He's kicked 1 out of 1, but maybe that's it. We'll ask Warren Ryan after the game anyway.
Okay, we've got big Paul Sirenin in possession. You could be right there, Zorba, and he's taken by Ray and put down. Now it's back to Ben Elias. Dummies both ways, gives it back to Wayne Pearce, hits it up strongly, then again to Rolls. Rolls is taken by Clayton Friend, and still we've got Gavin Jones grabbing hold of the shirt of a Balmain player, but it goes across now to Rolls, out to Conlon, and he gives it back inside to Benny Elias. Juggles the football, has a look on the inside, but again well taken over the top and a strong hit. 1 tackle left to go. It's played now, it goes back out 2 Rolls, then on to Scott Garr, gets a high kick up. It's a good one too in the in-goal area, but goes a little bit too far, Pete.
Yeah, too long, and a bit of pressure put on Scott Garr there by North Sydney. They're tackling very hard, North Sydney. There's dynamite in every tackle. Balmain have had all the football in the opening 5.5 minutes of play at Leichhardt Oval. The Tigers 2 lead the Bears 0. And coming up to take the tap for North Sydney is their hooker, Tony Ray.
Yeah, and he gives it straight out to Mark Graham. Put down now, 26 metres out from the North Sydney goal line. Ray at dummy half, across now to Martin Bella. Sidesteps one, comes back inside, but certainly looked after and entertained too by Benny Elias over the top. It's gone back to Ray, and Gavin Jones comes into the fray. And bench Stevie Roach says, I'll have you. Tried to eat him. The ball's been put down, and North Sydney received their first penalty of the match, Peter. Some more 28 metres out from their goal line centre field.
Well, it's no place for the faint-hearted out here. 2 big heavyweight packs, and they're really ripping in. The tackling is absolutely ferocious. Balmain getting a little bit anxious there. After all, they've had the ball for the opening 6 minutes, and a couple of their forwards wanted to rip in and just get rid of a bit of the adrenaline that is flowing in this game. And it's 2-0 in favour of Balmain over Norths after 6 at Leichhardt.
Oh, Dorothy nearly slipping through to a gap in the Balmain defence, but pulled down now. He gets up the play, back to Ray. It goes out now to Smith. He hits it up strongly, 2 steps away from one, and it's left on the far flank for Rolls to pull him down. Ray again giving it out to Mark Graham, trying to set his man up. It was Brett French, I might add, running wide, but he's pulled down on the far side, a shade over the halfway line.
Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Well, that kick by Dorothy went backwards, but you can see there's a very strong breeze here. Balmain running in favour of the breeze, but being penalised right in front.
Okay, Tony, what do you estimate the breeze is? You're down there on the sideline, close to the action.
Well, good enough to be wanting to run with it in the second half. I'd say it's a converted try at minimum.
Okay, minimum of 6, maybe 8 points. Here's John Dorothy now coming up. He won't have the shot at goal on this occasion. It's 40 metres out and into that wind that Tony McGay was just talking about. But Joe Cool puts it over the sideline right on the quarter. Here's North Sydney's best opportunity of the game on the Balmain quarter with 6 tackles to go.
Ray with the tap straight back to Kerry Bowstead. Hits it up for a gain of 6 metres and put down by Kerry Hemsley. Again, Ray now into the dummy half position. This time it's Ian French's turn. He gains no yardage, goes across field some 10 metres or so. 20 in from touch, 15 out from the Tigers goal line. Ray giving it back now on a beautiful ball set up for Gavin Jones. Knocked down Jimmy Jack, jumping Jimmy Jack, picking up the football. 15 metres out from the Balmain goal line and taken by Smith. It's back now to Elias, out to Hemsley. Bounces off Martin Bella. Dreadful pass picked up by Conlon. Conlon looks out wide, has support in Davidson, but elects to go to ground. Now it's Davidson's turn from the back of the ruck to race away. But again, he's well and truly apprehended by Clayton Friend. Benny Elias giving it across now to Rolls, out now to Freeman, on to Wayne Junior Pearce, centre field. He goes to ground. 28 metres out from the Tigers goal line. Benny Elias looking for support. Roach goes one way, but Benny elects to put the football downfield with a good looking kick too, turning Andrew Simons around, but going into the arms of of John MacArthur up over his own quarter line. Has a look for support. It was there too, but he's knocked to the ground immediately by Scotty Gale.
Well, Gavin Jones was out injured for most of last season for North Sydney, and they certainly missed him. Looking at him today, Greg, he's done a lot of work in the off-season, and he looks pretty fit out there. Be interesting to see how he handles the pace of this game, because Balmain have got a rugged pack, so have Norths. This is going to be a good game of football. So far, it's 2-0 in favour of Balmain over Norths. We've had 10 minutes of play.
Oh, and the man you're talking about, Gavin Jones, has just been put away by Siren in no uncertain terms. Bella, beautiful pass off there to John MacArthur coming through in support, but he's knocked down 30 out from the Bears goal line. He plays it again to Ray, and from the back of the ruck. Ray's got some kicking skills in his bag too.
Yeah, well, hookers should keep them in the bag, not out in the open.
Well, what's Benny Elias? Scotch missed. He kicks and you wrap his kicks. There was nothing wrong with that one. It just didn't reach the touchline. Gary Jack picks it up, gets tackled. It's out now. It goes to Rolls, then straight out to Freeman. Oh, and again stopped in his tracks. 4 metres on his own side of the halfway line. Good tackle by Smith. He's up to play it back to Ben Elias.
Who wrote that question out for you? I can't answer it. Somebody gave it to you.
I can't even remember what question. Back now it goes to Benny Elias out once again to Rolls. Good pass on to Freeman. Freeman, dead set Shepherd, but Mr. Filmer's missed it. He's been picked up by Greg Florimo and barreled, I'm here to tell you. Now it's back to the Elias on to Rolls. Tries to find a hole in the North Sydney defence. One tackle left to go. 10 metres into Bear territory. And again, Benny Elias with that probing kick downfield finds John MacArthur at home. 10 out from his own line, up over the quarter line. And eventually he's put down right smack dab in the guts of the field.
Balmain 2 lead North 0 on the National Panasonic scoreboard here at Leichhardt. Let's check the scores for National Panasonic and Footy Tab around the grounds. Caldex Field, Tony Peters.
South and Cronulla still 0-0.
Brian Surtees at Penrith.
Penrith and Western Suburbs still 0-0.
The only score in the Winfield Cup this afternoon, that penalty goal by Ross Conlon in the 3rd minute here. North Sydney in possession, 5 metres short of the halfway mark in their own territory.
And Mark Graham feeling like he's in a facial salon, cop plenty then. It goes to Clayton Friend, out now to John Doherty. Beautiful pass to Ian French, out to Florimo. A reasonably high tackle by Davidson, but the referee says play on, nothing in that as it goes to MacArthur, back to Doherty. He got a good step, gets around Elias, gets his kick in downfield, and it is a good one too. Kerry boasted. What in the heck was he doing up there, Peter?
Well, he's in front of the kicker, Greg.
Only by 20 yards.
Yeah, but good kick by Doherty, because he was under a lot of pressure there, and that's the problem for North Sydney. That Doherty was playing out of his normal role of fullback. They've chosen him at 5'8". Whenever they want to kick, he's got to drop back into that extra fullback position, so it's taking another man out of that back line. It's not working too well. Balmain are moving up very quickly. Second row feed by Friend, but Filmer's going to let all the feeds go this afternoon, and if he does it for both sides, who cares then? It's 2-0 in favour of Balmain.
It's gone out to Posted, flicks the ball up for John Doherty. He comes back inside, tries to evade the tackle of Wayne Pearce, but then is well and truly collected for his trouble by Maguire. It's gone out once again to Friend, out to Gavin Jones. A strong run on the far side, taking it up an extra 12 to 14 metres or so. He's now 8 over the halfway line in Tiger territory.
Balmain 2, North 0, sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Benny Elias just come past John Doherty then and said bad luck, Joe might feed when he charged that kick down.
Okay, and he lost the scrum. Okay, but North Sydney in possession now. Mark Graham inside to Clayton Friend, the Kiwi connection, but that was straight to Auckland Hospital, that pass.
I'll tell you what, he had a little bit of a bow peep too, but Tony Ray now races through, tips over the top. Gary Jack beautifully cleans up for the Balmain Tigers and takes the ball infield towards the centre of the ground, plus a 10-metre gain, gets up, no marker at home, goes forward, offloads a bad pass, but beautifully picked up by Rolls, wearing the number 7 for the Balmain side, and he's put away centre field, 10 away from the halfway line, and we've got Big Smithy over the top of him. Talk about the Bears, they're on the prowl, son.
Yeah, they are, but they're giving away silly penalties, and they'll dig their own grave if they continue to do that. The penalties in the game are 4-2 in favour of Balmain.
Conlon for a shot, Pete, 70 metres out.
Conlon has got the wind behind him, and would you believe, that's incredible, Greg.
It's the first, now I've seen him, we've both seen him take it from halfway.
Metres.
I'm sorry, 60 metres. We've seen him taken from halfway. I've never seen him take one that shot that long.
No, and he's got his socks down. Here's Greg Hartley to call it for you.
Well, it's going to be a rip snorter, I'm here to tell you. Well, it's going to go. It's going to go. Oh, it's fallen just under the bar. It was a great effort into the arms of John MacArthur across to the hillside at Leichhardt. Steps away from one, still going, little MacArthur, but eventually wrapped up by Scotty Gale. He gets up the plate. Andrew Simons now from the back of the rucks. Beats one, but well and truly taken by Ben Elias. Down around the bootlaces is with Tony Ray. He gives it out now to Gary Smith, hits it up strongly too, 32 metres out from the North Sydney goal line.
Well, that's the longest attempt I've seen for a long time. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Oh, it certainly was, but I'll tell you, it was within his range, mate. It was about one one bit of paint under that bar. Scrape of paint.
Okay, so there it is. Ross Conlon now getting another opportunity from yet another penalty, and this one a lot closer, and he's only 30 metres out, directly in front of the uprights.
Yeah, Pete, and as you said, 32 metres out is a hell of a long, the 60-metre kick was a hell of a long way, but this one now 32, it's well within his range. You'll probably put this smack dab over that yellow dot.
Okay, Ross Conlon right in front of the uprights, and that last one, he's got his socks up this time. That beats me, how blokes can kick goals with socks down.
He plays half the game with his socks down, Peter. He always has, even when he was with the other club. What was it, West or wherever it was?
Canterbury, Western Suburbs.
Yeah, always with his socks down, but they're up, as Pete said. And he's standing very steadily, comes in, no problem for him as he gets the ball away. It's going high, it's got the 2 points.
And it's 4-0 in favour of Balmain over North Sydney here at Leichhardt Oval. 2 Ross Conlon penalty goals. 2 Conlon penalty goals in the opening. Now we've had 14 minutes of play. After 14 minutes, it's 4-0 in favour of Balmain over North Sydney. Let's check the scores for Footy Tab on the National Panasonic scoreboard. Tony Peters at Caltex.
Still no score here between Cronulla and South.
Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
Penrith 4, West 0.
Back at Leichhardt, play restarting now, and John Doherty restarts play for North Sydney.
Gary Jack taking it a metre out from his own line. Goes high to take that ball comfortably. Straight into the rib cage. Beats one, but eventually knocked down now 12 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Playing it back to Maguire, again from the back of the ruck, going towards the centre of the ground, still 4 metres short of his own quarter line. Getting up to play it, back to Ben Elias. He gives it to Hemsley, charging forward, very close to the ruck, offloads back to Stephen Roach. And Roach gets going, the big man gives it out the rolls, then straight out to Freeman. He's got support out wide, and a good pass over now to Russell Gartner, the veteran of the side, but he's pulled down by Andrew Simons on the far side. Now it's played. It goes to Freeman, back now to Scott Gale if he gets a sniff of it, but a pass goes astray, picked up by Siren, and it was meant for Elias, but then it goes out. Oh, and beautifully taken too by Maguire. This is a game of basketball.
Yeah, that was great stuff by Maguire. Benny Elias goes away from dummy half, serves it up to Wayne Pearce, and Pearce takes a very solid tackle by both Martin Bella and the second rower, Gary Smith.
And the ball put down by Ben Elias once again, right back into the in-goal area, going to trickle over the dead ball line as the Bears watch it.
And Wayne Pearce down on his haunches, and that was a tough tackle, a combined one. I call Gary Smith, it was wrong. It was Ian French, the lock forward, along with Martin Bella, but Junior tells the trainer that he's okay. He's just on his haunches now, and he's back into the fray. Martin Bella takes it up off his own quarter line for North Sydney. 4-0 in favour of the Tigers.
Ray now giving it out into the arms of the big Kiwi, Graham, but a penalty given to the North Sydney side. Well, Pete, we've seen some penalties, mate.
Yeah, we certainly have, Greg, but if he's going to... he's been consistent. I don't think we can criticise him. On that occasion, North Sydney going up towards the grandstand side, our broadcasting side here at North Sydney, and he's ruled the Balmain forwards all inside the required distance. John Doherty kicks for the grandstand side. He finds touch just inside Balmain's territory. 4-0 to the Tigers over the Bears. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
He's handled this all right, Filmer. He's tried to keep them apart because if he doesn't, it's going to be all in. He's handled it all right.
Okay, well, he's certainly blowing his whistle, Greg. That one from a tap penalty. North Sydney have got yet another penalty. He's ruled the Balmain players all up inside the required area.
Now, you tell me that's a good penalty in a game with first-grade footballers. What was he, a yard from the 10? He was probably 9. Who gives a stuff?
Okay, got to agree with you on that one.
Okay, the tap to be taken now by Clayton Friend on the Balmain quarter line.
Do you hate agreeing with you?
Yeah, Ray goes out now to Friend. Good pass on to John Doherty. Then again to Gary Smith. Hits it up strongly centre field, just short of the Tigers quarter line. He plays it now back to Graham. Decides to go on his own. Now has the look, but the ball smothered by the young fella David Rolls. He's up to his feet. Ray again looking down that hillside of Leichhardt Oval. Out to Gavin Jones. A strong run too. Being piggybacked is Gary Freeman, and he's only 6 metres away from the Balmain goal line. Ben Elias has hurt his shoulder too in that attempted tackle as Ray serves it up for Friend to Doherty. A cut-out pass over to Ian French. Another cut-out pass to Gary Bowstead. There's some cover defence there. He turns it back inside. This time in a beautiful pass it was to Gary Smith, and he's decked 10 metres out from the Tigers goal line. Now it's gone across out to French. He gives it back now to big fella Martin Bella charging forward, but he's looked after with one tackle left to go. Clayton Friend at dummy half goes to Doherty. He puts a high kick up, and it's a rip snorter, I'm here to tell you. They're all going through, and Gary Jack cleans up in the in-goal area. Goal line drop out, but pressure galore on the Tigers.
Yeah, good kick by John Doherty. Russell Gartner knocked it back, and Gary Jack was there. And lucky for Balmain that he was there to mop up. Good pressure from North Sydney. This is a good game of football at Leichhardt Oval. Balmain 4, lead North 0 on the National Panasonic scoreboard after 18 minutes. Line drop out by Ross. Goes 50 metres on the fly, more, and taken by John MacArthur.
Beautiful
He's up and he makes 20 metres very quickly.
Yeah, and a good 20, Pete, a very important 20 to go down on one tackle. It's played. It goes from Ray again out to Gavin Jones. Oh, he's hit beautifully by Wayne Pearce with the shoulder, loses possession of the ball, and a scrum now, Pete, 28 metres out from the Tigers line centre field.
Yeah, well, that was a tremendous hit, Greg. That's well in line for our hit of the weekend. That one on Gavin Jones by Wayne Pearce, and of course we've got $150 worth of Pierre Cardin shoes for our hit of the weekend, and that one leads, I can tell you, and that of course is from Arthur Curry and the boys down at the All Size Clothing Company.
Yeah, great hit, Peter, and now we've got Balmain in possession once again, and there are bears all over him. The ball has been knocked on, says the referee, and that'll do just North Sydney fine, because they get a chance to get it back, and the man that did put it down was Wayne Pearce, but gee whiz, what a hit it was with the shoulder.
Yeah, it certainly was. Junior's been on the receiving end of a couple of hits himself today. These North Sydney forwards are hitting very, very hard, and he's decided to get a bit of his own back, and it was certainly a tremendous charge by Pearce. Scrum win by North Sydney.
Oh, very quickly picked up by Clayton Friend, but again looked after by David Rolls on the far side. Pete, being an ex-forward, isn't it great to see two big packs go at each other?
Yeah, certainly is, Greg. There's no love lost between these two teams, but they'll shake hands after the game and probably have a drink together tonight, but for the 80 minutes out there, it's all business.
Yeah, and we've got the big fella now. Bella plays it back to Ray, down to, it goes to Brett French down the blind side. He tries to get away from one and away from another, but he's knocked to the ground. Ian French it is, I should say. They look alike, but he picks up, plays the ball forward, still going. He's only 4 metres out from the Balmain goal line. They've got one tackle left, the big Black Bears. Are they back on the road again? Ray, it goes across now into the arms of the big Kiwi, Mark Graham, but then straight back into the arms of Gary Jack.
Well, I've got to say here and now, Greg, that I think Balmain and their coach Warren Ryan will be chuckling that indeed Mark Graham is playing front row. To have a man that can split a defence playing first man off the rucks, I think is like having a Rolls Royce and a Volkswagen at home and driving the Volkswagen instead of the Rolls Royce. I mean, it's ridiculous to have a running forward playing one man off the rucks, taking the first pass, and on that occasion he tried to grub a kick through. That's not his go, and I think it's a waste of football talent.
Elias at the back of the ruck, giving it back to Rolls and putting a good-looking kick downfield. But John MacArthur mopping it up 30 metres out from his own line, and a strong defence on the far side. He gives a good pass out to Andrew Simons. He can't get past Russell Gartner and company. Some 8 metres in from touch and 8 metres over the halfway line in Tiger territory. Tony Ray beats them all, and he's sprinting down for Elias. A good find, this kid, but he's wrapped up beautifully around the legs by David Rolls. A penalty, illegal interference, says the referee.
Yeah.
I couldn't pick that up, champ.
Yeah, it's against the Balmain player Maguire for holding back a support player for little Tony Ray, who ducked away from the dummy half position.
Ken Scoot.
Little blonde fellow, and he looked like a little halfback going away there, but it's very tiny for a hooker. And just on that, Mark Graham is sure to harp on it, because Frank Stanton's coached Australia and coached Manly and Balmain as well, and as well as North Sydney, and he's one of the best coaches of the modern era. But I just think that Mark Graham is going to have so much taken out of him packing into the front row. I'll be interested to see what Max Crilly says a little bit later on. And also he's up against two guys that are going to keep him in that scrum in Steve Roach and Kerry Hemsley, and packing into the front row is no picnic. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Well, the thing about that, Peter, he was lucky to be in the side, Graham. Stanton insisted that his work rate increase. He's put him in the front row to force the issue. He just wasn't doing enough in the second row, and Stanton wanted to force the issue, make him work.
Okay, so there it is from the Sydney Sun, the best sideline eye in the business. He sees all through those big Coca-Cola glasses of his. Tony McGay. John Doherty with a kick from the sideline, and it's 23 metres out.
Yes, Pete, only
Into
about...
the wind too, Greg.
Yes, it is. He's only about 2 foot in from touch, so we'll see what he can do with this one. Orthodox kicker going. All out to bounce on, picked up by Colin back in the in-goal area, made dead too. Oh, a bit of a mix-up there with a few Tigers.
Yeah, there certainly was, but that kick was never going over. Balmain 4 lead North Sydney 0 here at Leichhardt Oval on the National Panasonic scoreboard for Footy Tab. Let's check the others. Tony Peters at Caltex.
Cronulla 4 leads South Sydney 2.
Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
Penrith third try, they're leading 12-4 with a kick to come.
Okay, back at Leichhardt Oval, restart of play, and it's John Doherty, is it?
Kerry
No.
Bowstead, Pete
Kerry
picking it up.
Bowstead.
Yep, MacArthur let it go. Bowstead picked it up and he's knocked down. But now we see going forward and a strong run to Gavin Jones. He's going to get up and play the ball. Back it goes to Ray. Has a look on the outside. Gives it out to Gary Smith. Charging into a tackle from the big fella Stephen Roach, who puts him down in no uncertain terms. Ray to Friend. Good pass on to Doherty. Out to Greg Florimo. Steps back inside. Straightens up the attack but to no avail. Still 10 away from the halfway line in Tiger territory. It's John MacArthur giving it out to Mark Graham. Tries to split him. Beautiful ball. Turned back inside. For Ian French, who puts a clean set of heels going and gone over against Balmain for a try, and it was a good one too, Ian French.
Yes, certainly was, and that was good football there by the Balmain side. The lock forward, Ian French, running beautifully onto a pass from Mark Graham. It was Graham's pass that sent Ian French through, and Gary Jack missing the tackle there of the lock forward, Ian French, and Ian French has been able to go over and score the try. Greg, the referee had to be completely undecided as to whether Ian French grounded that ball because he slid over on his side. The ball was on the referee's blind side. The touch judge, I was looking at him, he gave him the nod for the try.
Well, he's lucky.
The try was awarded by the referee, Peter Filmer. So that ties it up at 4-all here at Leichhardt Oval after 25 minutes of play.
This kick to come from just inside the Balmain quarter line, and it's nice to know that there's two touch judges out there that can work in cohesion with the referee, because as Pete said, he was dead set blinded all right, and it was left for the touchy to make that vital decision.
Good pass by Big Mark Graham.
Good bust, as you said earlier. You can't understand why he's first off the ruck, but he was on that occasion. He busted him. French saw the opportunity, loomed up on the inside, and of course he did the rest. Now, big conflap back there in the in-goal area as far as the Balmain players, but Doherty, unperturbed, comes in now, and he lifts it up. It's looking good from here. Waved away, but then again, I did go to Gibbon Bemis last week. They fixed me up too. I better put them on, eh?
I think you better. It was well up in the air, but kicking into the breeze. That's a good try for North Sydney. Give them a lot of heart, because Balmain are playing with the aid of the wind in the first half. It's got to be worth some points, at least 6 according to Tony McGay, or maybe 8. So it's 4 points all here at Leichhardt Oval. Balmain, 2 goals to Ross Conlon, and for North Sydney, a nice try by their lock forward Ian French. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
This is an outstanding game of football. He can motor French. He'll play State of Origin for sure. Tough and hard and a heap of speed.
Yeah, very good try. Balmain now. They've got to get back the ball, and they have. Benny Elias shoots it out wide to Scott Gale.
Yeah, he stole it from Mark Graham, would you believe, then got it out there on the outside to Russell Gartner, who's about 8 metres out from the North Sydney goal line. It's Benny Elias across the rolls to Freeman. Freeman's got Kerry Hemsley with him. Hemsley has a look to offload, but again, surrounded by North Sydney defenders, 12 metres away from the Bears goal line. Getting up to play the ball, Elias again at dummy half. He's got a choice. He gives it out to Roach, turns it back to Gary Jack. Back now it goes to Benny Elias. Out to Hemsley, keeps it alive beautifully. Oh, it goes out wide into the arms of Gartner, and Gartner tries to turn it back inside. Well, again, basketball prevails here as it left the hands of Scott Gale in a fine fashion over the top as he popped it up to Gartner, and he's just stopped short of the line as he went over the touchline.
Very good, quick hands by Balmain on that occasion. Hemsley, good hands. Also Scott Gale with that knockout ball to his winger Russell Gartner, and good defence by Balmain. Good game of football, all tied up at 4-all at Leichhardt Oval in the National Panasonic scoreboard. We're 13 minutes out from half-time.
And MacArthur busts them straight over the top. Sloppy defence from the Balmain side, but it's left for David Rolls to do the mopping up. Now it's with Ray. He gives it out now to Gavin Jones. He hits it up strongly too for an extra 12 or so. 8 short of the halfway line. Still in the Bears territory as he gets up again. Ray confident too from the back of the ruck as he dummies, gains a valuable 10 metres once again before he's pulled down. He plays it again back to Martin Bella. This time it's out to Gary Smith, and another 10 metres gain, and piggybacks galore here this afternoon at Leichhardt Oval as he's put down now 38 metres out from the Balmain goal line with 1 tackle left to go, and Clayton Friend puts the ball up into the clouds. It's bounced off a North Sydney player. What have we got? A penalty to the Balmain side, Peter, inside the 5.
Greg Florimo and also John Doherty offside there for the North Sydney side, and it was a situation that the referee had under control. John Doherty went through very quickly, but it was Florimo, I think, that caused the problem there. It was Gary Jack. He never took his eyes off the ball, Gary Jack, but he was knocked out of the way by Florimo, who would have had to have a turbojet engine to get there that quickly. He had to be in front of the kicker. He's not refereeing too badly, this young fellow, Peter Filmer.
He's settling down now, Peter. He's got his game going all right. He's taken control of it anyway. Now it's Rolls giving it back to Hemsley. Oh, and another good hit by Martin Bella as Hemsley goes into him. He's dropped his shoulder. Also Mark Graham involved. It's with Elias out now to Rolls to Elias on the wraparound. And in comes Maguire charging forward like a rampaging bull, but he's stopped too by Gavin Jones. Solid defence this mob from North Sydney. It's good stuff as we see Rolls trying to dictate play. Holds the ball up now for Wayne Pearce coming through, but a beautiful tackle again by Ian French. Pulls him down. It's gone to Elias. Out now it went into the arms of Conlon to Gary Jack. Oh, and a good tackle by Greg Farimo right around the bootlaces. Chops him down. It's back with Scott Gale. Out to Freeman. Freeman nearly runs into the referee, and
he did, I think, and he said something. He said, "Get out of the way, big fella."
Yeah, he said play on too, and that's good refereeing as Rolls again puts pressure on Johnny MacArthur with a kick downfield, beautifully taking it. He comes up, beats one, goes down on one leg, but eventually now out and down he goes 15 metres out from the North Sydney goal line.
4-4 at Leichhardt Oval on the National Panasonic scoreboard. Yeah.
Panasonic.
For footy tablets, get around the grounds. Tony Peters at Caltex.
Cronulla 6, lead South Sydney 2.
Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
Penrith 12, lead Wests 4.
Back at Leichhardt now. North Sydney struggling to get outside their own quarter. And it's the second row forward. Gavin Jones playing the ball.
Yeah, back to Martin Bella and a strong burst too from the big Queenslander. Steps away from one, away from another. He gives it back to Tony Ray. Oh, and Ray's pass is intercepted by Wayne Pearson. Turns it back to Gary Jack. And Jimmy Jack all over the place, but knocked down. Good stuff by Ray, and a good call, I might add, by Pearce.
Yeah, there's a head-high tackle charge here, a late tackle against Wayne Pearce. Pearce picked that ball up and turned defence into attack.
Gavin
and
Jones
Gavin Jones being called out. Sideline eye, Tony McGay. How did you view that one?
Certainly was Jones. They've got the right man. We'll wait and see.
Okay, he's ruling maybe that he used his shoulder. I don't think he's going to send him, but it'll be a penalty to the Balmain side.
If he was going to send him, he'd have gone for that supposedly or allegedly head-eye tackle. It must have been the shoulder. You were probably right in the first place, Zorba.
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit late. Wayne Pearce picked up that loose ball, skirted around in a semicircle, headed back towards the North Sydney goal line, and he unloaded the ball inside to Gary Jack, who was in support, and Gavin Jones kept going with the charge on Wayne Pearce. And I said that Junior dished out one himself to Gavin Jones not too long ago when he flattened him down on the Balmain quarter, and Jones repaid in kind, but it could prove costly.
Yeah, 2 points costly, Pete. There's one thing about Junior Pearce, he'll put it on front on, he won't put it on from the side or from behind. That's why he's such a great player. There's the kick underneath the bar, no goal.
Yeah, a dodgy one. That's his first miss for this afternoon. 2 out of 3 for Ross Conlon. 4-4 here at Leichhardt Oval. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Yeah, look at that Pearce, how tough. So he's conceding about 2 stone to Jones, but he's coming out about square.
There certainly is. Great contest between those two, and indeed a tremendous contest all round the park here at Leichhardt Oval this afternoon. A crowd of probably between 6,000 and 7,000.
Okay, Scott Gale taking the football. This is a good game of football, I'll tell you. Now it's back to Wayne Pearce out wide. Wasn't expecting that one as Scott Gale was left with the only man, and that was Wayne Pearce to offload to, but he's pulled down. Now it's with Gartner. Goes across to Rolls to Freeman. Good pass then. It's been knocked back into the arms of Roach, and Roach is blue and saying, what in the heck am I doing here? As he's up the player, it goes back to Elias. Out now to Kerry Hemsley, and he found some new venom in his game as he takes it up towards the halfway line, still 4 metres short of it. It's played to Elias, out to Roach again. Oh, and Blocker nearly loses the football, but he gets up on the halfway to play it. Back to Elias, across to Rolls to Freeman. Good pass on to Conlon. Plenty of support out wide. Couldn't get his pass away, and again he's knocked down. So it's with Scotty Gale getting his kick downfield, and a good one too as the flag goes up 30-odd metres out from the North Sydney goal line.
Something has to give in this game shortly. The defence has been absolutely awesome. Players are hurling themselves into their defensive work with no fear of their body as they hurl each other into the
missiles,
defence.
Pete.
And it's incredible defence, and it's been going now for 33 minutes. There's only been one try in the game. game, and it's a humdinger of a game of football. Let's check the scores for Footy Tab on the National Panasonic scoreboard around the grounds. Tony Peters at Caltex.
Cronulla and South 6-all. South with a kick to come from in front.
Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
Penrith 12 lead West 4.
Back at Leichhardt Oval now. Balmain have the North Sydney side hemmed in their own territory as Greg Florimo tries to make it out. He does too, to the 30-metre mark.
Plays it now and it goes back into Clayton Friend's possession, offloading in then to Ian French. Now French is up to play it back to Ray from the back of the ruck. Can't get away from Bruce Maguire and company as he's pulled down. Clayton Friend having a Bo Peepers to see which side he's going to offload to. He gives it out to Big Martin Bella. Bellissimo Bella gives it away now. Out to Smith. He puts it down. It's cleaned up by Clayton Friend as he comes through. The knock-on has occurred, so a scrum. Peter, now, wait a minute. Now, he's going to put the scrum down there, which the knock-on occurred in the North Sydney side of the halfway line.
Yeah, Greg, and it was little Kerry Boasted trying to clean up there, but no chance for him. There's a scrum win to the Balmain side, and David Rolls, ex-Parramatta, goes away from the scrum base, and he's tackled on the halfway mark.
Place it to Freeman. Oh, and Maguire puts the football down. He was facing the other. He said no, it was his own line. It's a correct ruling. I thought he was going to pull it up because it's been played slowly. Back to Hemsley now after Davidson up for a bit of a gallop towards the halfway line. Finished off by Bella. Up to play it back. It goes now to Benny Elias. Out beautifully running onto the football to Stephen Roach for a gain of 8 metres or so. Once again, Benny Elias working OT this afternoon. He's plugged in, gives it out to Rolls. It's back to Freeman. Did get a hand to it. No, the referee says no. 1 tackle left to go. Haven't gained any yardage. Benny Elias says I'm going to put my foot to it, which he does. Down to the wing of Andrew Simons. MacArthur's back there with Clayton Friend, and Friend first man to pick up the football. 5 out from his own line. Scotty Gale arrives on the scene to put him away.
Good player, Clayton Friend. He's certainly been a great buy for North Sydney, and he's a workaholic. He does a lot of work in defence. He's urging his forwards on all day. Here's Mark Graham trying to get in the action. That's a good, strong burst, and he goes over the top of Benny Elias, but he's finally put to ground by his opposite, Kerry Hemsley. Now it's Bella's turn.
Yeah, and he takes it up strongly too. Well, geez, when you take David and Goliath there as far as Benny and Big Mark is concerned, it was only natural. But now Gavin Jones, another man hitting it up strongly, and they've got respect for him. 3 Tigers in over the top to put him down. It's played to Ray. Good pass across once again to John Dorahy, alias Joe Cool, with a beautiful kick, but straight down the throat of Davidson. He's got Jimmy Jack in field. Beautifully goes up for it. Clayton Friend comes up to him, tries to step away, but he's knocked down just short of the halfway line in Balmain territory.
Well, that was a hard attack pass from John Davidson. It was well taken by Gary Jack, but there were North Sydney players there. Had Jack not taken that ball cleanly, there would have been curtains. And here's Elias from dummy half.
Oh, and picks up Maguire coming through. He had a switch of play, did a 360. Maguire's put the football down. Ray's picked it up, and Ray now is knocked to the ground 40 metres out from his own line.
4 minutes to half-time at Leichhardt Oval, and the deadlock continues. Balmain 4, North Sydney 4.
Mark Graham say it again, Holly, stepping back inside 5 metres out, and he's dropped the ball. He dropped the ball. Graham is going right off his cool. And it'll be a fruitcake, Marky boy. You drop it. Nobody touched that ball. And a scrum to go down now 4 metres short of the halfway line.
Well, Mark Graham, not often you see him get upset on a football field, but he certainly was on that occasion, and he's packing in the front row. I don't think he fancies it too much either. Balmain win the scrum, and to the open side goes the New Zealander, Gary Freeman.
Oh, and a silly thing. Total frustration by Gavin Jones on Freeman, and he just sort of gave him a little nudge and put him down again.
Ridiculous. The penalties are 8-5 in favour of the Balmain Tigers, and a lot of those penalties have been through ridiculous indiscretions by the North Sydney forwards in the play the ball. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Yeah, you're right there. There's been a lot of pressure on Gavin Jones. He's copped a lot of hits. There's been a lot of work on him. He's copped plenty, and that was just the frustration there. He wanted to give some back, and he realised as soon as he did, shook his head and copped a gobful from the captain.
Balmain won't be too happy at half-time unless they get a lead, Tony, because it's worth a few points. Here is Ross Conlon now coming in for his 4th shot at goal.
5 over the halfway line in Bears territory. That's a good-looking kick, and it goes up. It's a rip snorter.
6 points to 4 in favour of Balmain from the boot of Ross Conlon this afternoon. Balmain 6 lead North Sydney 4 with 3 out of 4 now for Ross Conlon. Let's check the scores for Footy Tab on the National Panasonic scoreboard. Tony Peters at Caldex Field.
South Sydney and Cronulla locked at 8 points all.
8 all, and Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
Almost half-time, Penrith 18, West's 4.
18-4, a good lead there for Penrith against Western Suburbs. 8 all in the other game. Don't forget the Broncos and the Eagles tonight. And we'll be crossing to Brisbane's Lang Park at 5:45 with Ray Warren and David and Dennis Ward. There's the long kick-off by John Dorahy for North Sydney, taken beautifully by Gary Jack. He should have let that go, Greg. It would have been a penalty.
Well, I tell you what, mate, he could have let it go, but it went straight between the goalposts too, so you can't give a goal, of course, but it was a great kick. Balmain in possession of the ball, short of their own quarter line, and Roach taking it up in a strong burst too, and over the top came Martin Bella and Big Mark Graham. It's back now to Elias. He gives it out to Surin, and he hits it up strongly too, much to the delight of the Balmain crowd as he plays it to Elias. Goes across once again to Rolls, and what a good kicking game he's got too. He's put it down again. John MacArthur going across, but an applause goes up and a fine kick, Peter.
Almost half-time here at Leichhardt Oval, and that was an ironic cheer when Big Paul Sirinen raced through there onto the ball. He's got to get involved in the action a little bit more. I'm sure that'll be the message at half-time for him to become more involved. A real titanic struggle here at Leichhardt Oval. Balmain 6 lead, North Sydney 4.
Scrum win to Balmain. John MacArthur is at win across the back line from John Dorahy. He is put down by his opposite, Gary Jack. He gets up the play to Dorahy, out to Clayton Friend. Comes back inside, can't get past Brucey Maguire, having a good game too for the Tigers as he's pulled down just outside his quarter line. Florimo out to Martin Bella as the siren goes. They're not going to do anything to you, Marty. Oh, they've stolen the ball, would you believe? Gary Freeman. Well,
the referee has called on him to play the ball, and there's no doubt about it in my mind, Greg, that he gave that signal. He realised that there could only be problems from that. There was no doubt about it. Bella was well held, and he said, that's it for the first half. And then Freeman stole the ball as well, worth a try, but I've got to go with the referee. A very good first half from the young referee, Peter Filmer. I think he's been in complete control, and you have to be happy with his play too.
I am, Peter, but that last ruling, I'm going to look into that one, because if he had said call upon to play the ball, then it should have been a penalty to North Sydney.
I think he called time. That was it, half-time he called. He said, that's it, fellas.
You call half-time by blowing the pee out of the whistle, champ. You don't sing out it's half-time, fellas.
Stop nitpicking. I don't think there's any problems there. You're nitpicking.
You're kidding.
No problems with that one.
I'm going out of the box, and now I'm going to find out about that one.
It's going to be a lot better in here without you. I wish you could bloody well stay out for the whole of the afternoon. Tony Peters at Caltex Field.
Peters coming up to half-time. It's still 8 points all.
OK, Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
It's half-time just sounded here. Penrith 20, lead Western Suburbs 4.
OK, we're going to take a break on our rugby league cover. Just going through the first half here. North Sydney's try to Ian French and Balmain. 3 penalty goals from 4 attempts to Ross Conlon. We'll take a break. Uninterrupted rugby league on 2GB News Talk 87 in Sydney, 2CA in Canberra and 2HD in Newcastle. And it's brought to you by Manchester Unity, City Ford, All Proud Home Improvements and the Sydney Sun.
OK, league fans, which is Sydney's #1 league paper?
Sydney's #1, that's the Sydney Sun.
The Sun is Sydney's #1 for rugby league, with our new 8-page zip out every Monday and our big sports lift out every Friday, featuring top writers like the great Wally Lewis. The Sun has more colour, more stories, more rugby league excitement. That's why it's #1.
Sydney's #1. That's the Sydney Sun. Sydney's #1. That's the Sydney Sun.
City Ford is Australia's largest Ford dealer, and already they've sold more new Falcons than any other dealer.
Yes, yes. City Ford says yes, yes, yes.
City Ford are the biggest because they've got the best deals, and they'll do their best to help you trade up to a fantastic new Ford Falcon. Test drive one today at City Ford, City, Mascot and Camperdown.
Yes, yes, yes. City Ford says yes more often. City Ford says yes more often.
Is your family cramped for room? You don't have to go to the expense and hassle of moving house. All Proud Home Improvements will solve your problems with a Flexilum extension. All Proud can give you the privacy of a screened room, a light and airy patio cover, or a multi-purpose carport, all featuring the exclusive Nature Light panels. No mess, no fuss. For a free measure and quote, call Ray Shiner at All Proud Home Improvements on 750-5755, open 7 days.
If you have money invested, do you know how safe it is? Manchester Unity members do. They know their funds, by law, can only be invested in government or semi-government securities and all authorised trustee investments, assuring the total security of your money. So why not give Manchester Unity a call on 267 8831? They've been helping Australians for 150 years.
Manchester Unity, caring for you.
League 88 is brought to you by City Ford, Manchester Unity, the Sydney Sun, and All Proud Home Improvements. Now it's back to Peter Peters.
Welcome back to Leichhardt Oval, where it's half-time in a very tight and rugged game of football here. No place for the faint-hearted, and it's a scoreline of 6 points to 4 in favour of Balmain over North Sydney. Let's check the scores around the grounds and for the half-time summaries. Around the grounds team, great to have them back aboard with us. First up at Caltex Field for Souths and Cronulla, a real tight struggle there. Here's Tony Peters.
Thanks, Peter. It's 8 points all here at half-time. Cronulla's points, all 8 of them have gone to Sean Watson, the winger, who scored the only try of the first half after the 20th minute, and Watson kicked 2 goals from 4 attempts. For South Sydney, big prop Ian Roberts scored their only try after 32 minutes, and Mark Ellison has kicked 2 goals from 2 attempts. The scrums in the first half have favoured South 6-1, and the penalties at 4-all. Well, briefly, the first half story is that Cronulla didn't take full advantage of the very strong southerly wind which they had at their backs down here at Caltex Field. South Sydney, meanwhile, have played it very tight, hoping to stay in touch with Cronulla, which is exactly what they've done, and I'm sure George Piggins has told his boys at half-time now that they've got it exactly the way they want it. They're going to come out in the second half with a very strong southerly at their back, and with the possession that Craig Coleman and Mario Fennick have been providing them with, South Sydney look much more positive than Cronulla in possession, and as a matter of fact, the Cronulla back line, which I thought would probably be a key factor today, hasn't even worried the South Sydney defence at this stage. Cronulla's only try came from a mistake in the South Sydney back line when Mark McGaw picked up a loose ball and combined with Craig Diamond and Michael Porter for winger Sean Watson to force his way over wide out. South Sydney's only try came from a Mark Ellison bomb, and big Ian Roberts' height did the rest. He was just too tall for young Jonathan Docking near the goalpost. Really, there hasn't been much to talk about with this game, Peter. Not much attacking flair from either side, but South Sydney, with that strong southerly at their backs, should win this match comfortably in the second half. The reserve grade went to South 33-18, and they won the under 21s by 38-16.
Thanks, Tony. Up at Penrith Park, Brian Surtees.
Yes, here at Penrith Park, the first 40 minutes certainly going with the home side Penrith. They have established a 20 points to 4 lead at the break and have scored 4 magnificent tries during the first 40 minutes. The first was scored by Graham Bradley, the second by Brad Izzard, the third by Ken Gittins, and the fourth by Cole van der Voort. The goals, 2 from 5, have been kicked by Neil Baker, whilst for Western Suburbs, winger John Allenson scored the only try, and that's the only points on the board. New 5'8" Dale Hall, coming into the side for the injured Doug Rawlings, has failed with 2 shots at goal. Well, it's been a bright start to the Penrith Panthers here this afternoon, and the new boys have done particularly well. Centre 3/4 Graham Bradley, a former Illawarra player, has been outstanding. He scored the first try and has had several excellent runs in addition to that. Also, we've seen some good professional play, a good strong play by his centre 3/4 partner Chris Mortimer, and some excellent running by winger Ken Gittins. In the forwards, Peter Kelly, the strong man, has added authority to this pack and has given confidence to his forward teammates. Colin van der Voort, who also got a try, has played particularly well, with Royce Simmons conducting affairs around the ruck. Some good strong work from Matt Goodwin. It's been all Penrith. Western Suburbs have tried particularly hard, but have been outclassed by this Penrith outfit. Their only try came midway through the first half when Allenson was able to dive over in the corner after some swift backline play. But apart from that, that was the only ray of sunshine for Western Suburbs, and I won't be surprised if Penrith go on and win this match by a very big margin. Neil Baker, the former South Sydney goal kicker, failed with his first 3 shots at goal, then found target and has landed the last 2. Just checking the scrums and penalties, the
to the North Sydney territory. Big Buckets Hemsley goes up, and he's tackled just short of the quarter line of North Sydney. Balmain in front, 6-4.
Goes out to Freeman. Good pass on to Gary Jack on the far side of the ground, up towards the North Sydney quarter line. The knock-on has occurred, says the referee, so a scrum now will go down 10 metres in from the touchline on the hillside here, the scoreboard side at Leichhardt Oval. and just outside the North Sydney quarter line.
Well, how many times have we seen North Sydney with the ascendancy in a match only to blow it? And they've got the wind behind them in the second half. They only trail by 2 points. Is today going to be their day? This Balmain side look all fired up to me for the second half, and North Sydney win an important scrum. Little Freeman goes for the ball against Florimo, but doesn't get it. North Sydney now got to work it away.
Oh, and a good pass too into the arms of Brett French travelling through there, but he's pulled down. It's played back to Ray. A good pass now across to Martin Bella, charging forward, bounces off one, but then again he's put away as we see Roach coming in over the top to finish him off. Ray now back to Mark Graham travelling forward. On a swinging arm too by a Balmain player, missed the mark.
Yeah, but it hit his own bloke.
Yeah, it sure did, and Buckets has copped that one, and I refer there to the big fella Hemsley, but the kick has been put downfield, and Gary Jack going back very comfortably, picking it up. He's going to do well. He gets back into the field of play, beats one or two, but then is put down only 2 metres out from the Balmain goal line. John Davidson into dummy half.
Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Oh, you wouldn't believe that. Hemsley hit, Roach hit Hemsley, I should say, going for Mark Graham. A swinging arm by Roach as poleaxe Hemsley.
Okay, any changes, Tony?
No changes to either side, Peter.
Okay, sideline eye, Tony McGay. So there was Blocker and Buckets at it. Blocker hit Buckets, his own man.
Balmain in possession of the football, 10 metres out from their own line. And it's gone across now to Paul Siren, and I think he's been given a brief to do just a little bit more. One tackle left to go. 18 metres out from the Tigers goal line. He's up to play it. Back it goes again into the arms of Elias, then given out to Rolls this time, getting his kick downfield. On the flag goes up, and another 45-metre gain. This scrum will go down 5 metres over the halfway line in North Sydney territory.
And the touch judge talking to John Davidson over there on the flank, and I don't know what that's about, Greg, but we announced in our column this morning that the touch judges have got their own coach these days, and I think the art that they teach them the most is to talk to the players. You've got to be a good talker to be a touch judge.
And now we've got North Sydney winning the scrum. Oh, Clayton Friend picked up and given a serve too, and it's Freeman having a shot at Ian French this time, but the referee has given the penalty to North Sydney right on the halfway line, 20 metres in from touch on the scoreboard side.
Well, there's just the intensity of the Winfield Cup. Gary Freeman is a Kiwi. He picked up his rival over there in New Zealand for the Test halfback spot, Clayton Friend, and thumped him into the ground. And Big Mark Graham's an ex-Kiwi international captain, and he pushed Freeman away too. So here on the football field in Sydney, Australia,
no friends.
No friends for sure. Here's John Doherty right on the halfway mark. He saw Conlon miss with a kick 60 metres out in the first half. He's a lot closer this time, 10 metres closer. And John Doherty, who with one of his kickoffs, Greg, got 50 metres on the fly in the first half. You commented that it went between the uprights. It'll be interesting to see how he goes with this one. So Doherty can tie it all up here, only 4 minutes into the second half.
Must be fantastic to know, particularly if you're in a side when you've got fellows like Conlon and of course John Doherty that can put that leather down 50 metres with such accuracy. And if he's got it now, he's a little bit away from the centre of the field, some 14 metres or so, but nothing to worry about.
He's such a natural kicker. He doesn't, need to go to for a lot of distance. It just comes naturally for him.
Yeah, he flows through with a good follow on. There she goes now. Oh, it's a good-looking kick. Distance. What's it going to be? Just waved away, gone dead. But boy, it was nearly on target, Peter.
Yeah, it certainly was, Greg. He's had no success this afternoon with 3 kicks, but that was just to the right of the uprights. Distance was no trouble to him, but Doherty will be disappointed with that because he had the wind right behind him, and that could have levelled the scores. Here's Conlon, who has no trouble getting 50 metres, not 50, about 40 anyway, on the fly with a drop kick into the wind. Doherty takes it well.
Oh, and steps away from both Wayne Pearce and Benny Elias, but eventually he's put down by Hemsley. Now he gets up to play it back to Tony Ray. A good pass then on to Bella down the centre of the ground. He's popped the football up. Elias quick to take advantage of it, picking the loose football up, but eventually taken by Florimo. Benny Elias having a look at the touch judge. Nothing wrong with that, Ben, as we see now. Rolls wrapped up well and truly for his trouble. He'll get up and play the football after being knocked down by Ian French. It's gone out to Hemsley. Hemsley was going to turn it back inside. Mark Graham all over the top of him like Pond's cold cream. Nothing left there. He's up to play the ball. 10 metres short of the halfway line. Back to Elias. It goes a long pass right out to Scott Gale, who hasn't moved much because Florimo's been up on him. He plays the ball. It goes to
Gartner sends it back inside to Wayne Pearson. He's knocked to the ground, still 8 metres short of the halfway line with one little tackle to go.
It could have easily been a penalty to Norths for a shepherd, but the referee let it go, gave them the benefit of the doubt. There's the kick downfield, not a good one, picked up by MacArthur just outside his own quarter. He stops and props and then goes the other way and then ends up making a good 10 metres for his side.
Yeah, Freeman put him away. Now Clayton Friend. Freeman on Friend. Friend on Freeman. And down Clayton Friend goes. Now it's played to Ray. Back again out now to Gavin Jones. Proving a handful. Oh, this time Sirenan stands his ground. Drops the old shoulder straight into Gavin and down he goes.
Balmain 6, lead Norths 4. That was the half-time score. Let's check the scores for Footy Tab on the National Panasonic scoreboard. Tony Peters, Caltex.
Cronulla 12 leads South Sydney 8. Cronulla with a kick to come.
Penrith and West, Brian Surtees.
Penrith 20 lead Western Suburbs 4.
Back at Leichhardt Oval, we've got a scrum to go down just inside Balmain territory, and this will be a scrum feed to the North Sydney halfback, Clayton Friend. It's Balmain 6 leading North Sydney 4.
Yeah, they're having a little tick-attack, these two halfbacks, Rolls and Friend. North Sydney scrum win. Clayton Friend wrapped up very, very quickly by Davidson and company. He's up the plate. It goes back now this time into the arms of Brett French, but he's quickly put to the ground 8 metres over the halfway line in Balmain territory. Ray serving it up again for Martin Bella, getting through a mountain of work and beating one or two. Hemsley around his legs, and we've got Kerry Hemsley over the top with John Davidson. The big man just pushes him aside.
Davidson's hurt his ankle.
Gets up the plate, back to Ray. Then it goes out this time into the arms of Gavin Jones. He's also up again to play it, back to Ray. Gives it across this time into the arms of Ian French once again, and Ian French now right down to the Balmain quarter line with one tackle left to go. Ray at dummy half decides to put pressure on the Tigers with a high kick. Gary Jack going up, beautifully taking the leather. 1 metre out from his own goal line. He's a game Tiger this afternoon.
Yeah, great take by the Australian and Balmain fullback, but gee, I'm very impressed with Tony Ray, not for his kicking but for his general play. But he did follow up that kick and he barreled Gary Jack, former Brisbane player Ray. Here's Balmain throwing it around right in front of their own uprights and right across the face of their uprights. Wayne Pearce tackled 10 metres out. Now it's Roach's turn to go up.
Oh, charges in too, and he's taken beautifully over the top by Graham and Bella. Up the play it back to Benny Elias. This is a good game of football. Rolls out now to Conlon and out to Scotty Gale. He's got a sniffing of an opening. Scotty Gale comes back inside, bounces off one, gives it back inside to Rolls. Oh, and a penalty has been awarded there.
Oh, and John MacArthur throwing rights into the face of David Rolls. Well, the referee was poorly positioned to adjudicate on a forward pass.
It was not forward, Peter.
He was about 5 metres upfield, Greg. I don't think he was in a very good position. I think that he assumed that it was a forward pass.
To assume is to make an ass of yourself.
Oh, boy, listen to the knowledge that's flowing out of Greg Hartley. Sideline eye, Tony McGay. You're in line with that. How did you see it?
I certainly was, Peter. I think Freeman should be the one to go. He came in, he put about 3 or 4 right on John MacArthur's chin. It had nothing to do with it. Freeman run in. Mark Graham tried to pull him off. He went berserk, Freeman. He should be the one to go.
And what about MacArthur, though? He was pumping plenty away at David Rolls.
He didn't throw the first one, though.
No, but he threw about 4 or 5. What about the pass?
Well,
was it forward or not?
I thought it was forward, but still Freeman was the offender for mine.
Okay, and that's the way the touch judges reported it, because it's a penalty to the North Sydney side. And there was Freeman and MacArthur both throwing plenty of right hands. I hope Jeffrey Fennick does likewise tomorrow night at the Sydney Entertainment Centre when our world champion in 2 other divisions attempts to become only the 10th boxer in world history to win 3 separate world titles. Good luck to you, Jeff. I know you're listening, and hope it goes well for you tomorrow night. Here's North Sydney now with a great chance to maybe go in for some points.
Andrew Simons plays it back to Ray, goes across to John Dorry. He holds the ball up for John MacArthur, but MacArthur slammed over the touchline by Russell Gartner. Gartner standing over him, and the flag eventually goes up, much to the delight of the Balmain supporters.
There's a lot of niggle out there, Greg.
Is there ever?
There is players being put into touch and then something being said to them, and it's really a battle royal. Here's North Sydney all offside, and the Balmain players were pointing to the players offside, but referee Filmer has neglected to give the penalty.
Another good pass across from Rolls to Freeman. Freeman then out to Scott Gale, but he's well and truly apprehended out wide by Brett French. He gets up to play the ball back to Benny Elias. It goes across now to Kerry Hemsley. He's going to be wrapped up, still trapped inside their own quarter, the Balmain Tigers. Getting up to play it again, it goes to Elias out wide. No, he decides to go on his own, but again wrapped up well and truly for his trouble by Peter Gray. He gets up to play the ball. It goes back now to Maguire. Maguire can't get past one or two. It was Gary Smith, I should have said, not Gary Gray or whatever I said. Take it from me, it was Smith as the ball goes downfield. Coming in to take it, Andrew Simons. He's got support. Dummies to John MacArthur. Straightens up the attack. Goes up towards the halfway line before he's knocked down in a fine tackle right around the legs by Scott Gale. And he's crook, Pete, Scotty.
He certainly is. 11 minutes gone in the second half. No change to the half-time score. Balmain 6 clinging to that 2-point lead over North Sydney 4. Let's check the scores for Footy Tab on the National Panasonic scoreboard. Tony Peters at Caltex.
Cronulla 14, South Sydney 8.
Brian Surtees at Penrith.
Penrith still leading West 20-4.
North Sydney on the attack. Dorahy out to French. French throws the shocking pass to Andrew Simons and the ball goes over the sideline. And Simons having a shot now at Russell Gardner. Comes in and pushes Frog's eyes and the touch judge comes in. Everybody saw it, including the referee, but the touch judge now going to call out Russell Gardner.
It's all that coaching the touch judges have had. It's all that coaching.
Well, coaching. Unbelievable. Now here's the referee obligated to call the player over. That was merely pushing and shoving. Honestly, some of these touch judges really want the guys to wear aprons. That's all I can say, because there's nothing in that. Two wingers really just objecting to what happened there, and a bit of a push and a shove on a football field never hurt anybody, and we've got the touch judges coming in. Sideline eye, Tony McGay. Tony McGay.
He's gone to have some of that beautiful chickadee chicken, I think. He's out for lunch, but Balmain are in possession of the ball. It's gone across now to Rolls. Rolls steps back inside one. He gives it back now to Gartner. Gartner now is just up over the halfway line before he's knocked to the ground by Tony Ray. Plays it back to Benny Elias. Gives it out now to Roach. Hits it up strongly. Roach tried to slip one away as Gavin Jones went low around the legs, but he gets up, plays the ball forward, and again Roach charging down the field for a 15-metre gain. A strong burst before he's put down by Martin Bella. It's back to Elias, across now to Rolls to Freeman. Good pass out now to Gary Jack, turns it into Gartner. Gartner flicks it out now to Scott Gale, but he loses his footing and goes under the tackle of Ray. He'll play it now 38 out from the North Sydney line. It goes back now to Elias, out to Rolls. Rolls gets his kick downfield and wrapped up now by Gary Bowstead. He turns around, goes one way, can't beat the defence this time. Getting up there very, very quickly was Paul Sirenen, but a penalty given. Now he held onto his shirt tail a little too long, he's saying.
Well, Greg, the young fellow, really a tough game for him to handle, and he's finding it tough going now, just as he was at the start of the game when there was plenty of action going on there. But the North Sydney player is still down on the ground, injured.
Bowstead, Pete.
Yeah, Bowstead it is, and of course Kerry, I hope it's not his shoulder again, because he's had a terrible time with that in the past. The North Sydney players are anxiously awaiting how he is, and
he's up, champ.
He's up, and he's okay. Thank heavens for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so a tough game here at Leichhardt Oval, led by Balmain by 6 points to 4 on the National Panasonic scoreboard. North Sydney with a relieving penalty kick to be taken by Joe Cool, John Dorahy. He puts his right foot to the ball and finds touch around about 30 metres out from the North Sydney goal line.
And a good kick too. Ray takes the tap and gives it back to Bella. 2 footballs on the field, but Clayton Friend kicks one away. Play continues. Ray out now to Mark Graham. Hits it up straight into the arms of Roach, and the heads clash there. Oh boy, did the heads clash there. Maybe a bit of claret coming out of both of them, as we see now Gavin Jones charging forward. Oh, what an improved player too. They've got a football team, the Bears, this year. I'm here to tell you. But the ball raked back by Benny Elias in fine style into the arms of Maguire. Now he plays it to Elias to Rolls. Out now to Wayne Junior Pearce. This is bloody good stuff here at Leichhardt Oval this afternoon. He gets up to play it. Elias now gives it back to Hemsley, and he charges straight into the North Sydney defence, but put down beautifully by Gary Smith from North Sydney.
Well, the boys won't need anything to make them sleep tonight. This is a heck of a game, as Greg said. I won't call it what he called it, but there's Stephen Roach, who loves the tough going. He's made it up another 10 metres. He's tackled now 40 metres out from the North Sydney goal line. Balmain 6, lead North Sydney 4.
And Freeman trying to weave a little bit of magic, stepping one way, then the other, but caught up again by Martin Bella and Gavin Jones. It's played to Elias, and a penalty now given to Balmain against Gavin Jones, this time hanging on a little bit too long. Gee whiz.
And also for prematurely kicking in the play the ball. The penalties are 9-8 in favour of Balmain, and the scrums are a big 8-4 margin to North Sydney over Balmain. So there's a situation there. There's a couple of replacements, and Gavin Jones is off for the North Sydney side, replaced by Kevin Marr, is it?
I'm trying to have a look. I think it is big Kevin Marr, Peter.
Yeah, Kevin Marr. Gee, I think Gavin Jones had a terrific game.
So did I.
And sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Well, I got to disagree with that. In the wash-up, he might have cost them the game. He gave away that penalty. He's been penalised 2 or 3 times. They've kicked the goal and he's lost the ball. He's been sacked, mate.
Okay, so he's been sacked, but gee, I think he's been going fairly strongly. Anyway, here's Balmain with a chance. Up goes Stephen Roach.
Oh, good strong run by Roach. 12 metres out from the North Sydney goal line. It's played back now to Hensley. Oh, and it goes out to Sirenin, who nearly gets through the gap of a great pass too from Benny Elias. Elias again at dummy half. What happens down the blind side? Oh, and Junior Pearce comes into it. Boy, there'll be plenty of liniment tonight used by these fellas as he's knocked down now 2 metres out from the North Sydney goal line. Elias across now to Rolls. He gives a good pass to Connor, who offloads out to Gary Jack. He turns it back to Scott Gale. Scott Gale has gone over. Oh, that's a good try from Scott Gale, and Martin Miller comes in the in goal after the try had been scored, and shoulder charges him.
Well, this is a great game, and we've seen a great try scored by Balmain. A magnificent try by the Tigers. It went to Scott Gale, but there was some excellent work done inside. Beautiful pass by Ross Conlon. Jumping Jimmy Jack come into the back line, made the extra man. Scotty Gale came inside the North Sydney defence, which has been strong all day, and he scored the try just as Martin Bella arrived too late to put him down. It's been a game for the tough here, and Balmain, their forwards with a lot of them, claret flowing out of their noses, and they've got their nose in front now by 10-4 into the wind in the second half, and Balmain lead here by 10-4 with a comparatively easy kick to come. That try 17 minutes into the second half was well worth waiting for Balmain.
And now the kick by Ross Conlon, 9 metres out, right in front as he comes in now. Safety first, and he's got the extra 2.
I think that'll take the wind out of North Sydney sails, Greg. They've been in there all day, but North Sydney just faltering there, and Balmain coming on strongly. It's been a tremendous game of football. The forward clash has been absolutely awesome, and the ground is rocked here with the tackles, and it's been a game where the forwards have dominated, and Balmain, after, what is it now, 57, 58 minutes of the game, have finally gained the ascendancy. They lead by 12-4. Let's check the scores for Footy Tab on the National Panasonic scoreboard around the grounds. Tony Peters at Caltex.
Cronulla 14 still leads South Sydney 8.
Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
And Penrith 20 still lead Wests 4.
Back at Leichhardt Oval, a good run by Gary Jack from the restart of play, and now Maguire plays the ball to Benny Elias.
And caught well and truly just outside his own quarter line. Balmain in possession. It's gone back to Roach. Goes across to Rolls. A good pass on to Wayne Pearce. Stands, has a look. Rolls is there again to take position for the Tigers. And he's now 24 metres out from the Balmain goal line. And pulled down on a solid tackle over the top 2. It's played now back to Elias. He gives it out now to Sirenin. Charging forward onto the football. 1 tackle left to go. 32 metres out from the Tigers goal line. Up the play it back to Benny Elias. Goes across to Rolls. And again Rolls torpedo style kick down the field. Bounces once for MacArthur. Takes it on his own quarter line, has a look back, and Bruce Maguire's up there in good company, and eventually he's knocked down now 38 metres out from the North Sydney goal line.
Well, I don't know how the referees' appointments board are going to mark Peter Filmer here today, but I can say this, that he won't get many tougher games of first grade football. I don't care how long he referees. This is as tough as they come, and there's some great stuff in this. A beautiful pass there by the number 27 for North Sydney, Kevin Marr. He was hit by 3 Balmain players, but still got his pass away.
Yeah, and North Sydney in possession, taking it up strongly was Gary Smith, but he's knocked to the ground 5 metres short of the halfway line. It's back with Ray, and again he sees the gap open up. Ben Elias comes at him, drops him, but he gets his pass back once again, this time into the arms of Ian French, and he's knocked down with 1 tackle left to go.
He's had a mighty game, Greg. Ian French for North Sydney.
Sure has. Now Friend serves one up for Tony Ray. This bloke can play too as the ball goes high again. Gary Jack stands his ground, 5 out from his own line, takes the ball. Ray goes through. Jimmy Jack bucking and weaving, finds gaping holes in the defence, gives it out to Conlon. Conlon's hit from behind by Bowstead and loses possession of the football.
Yeah, Kerry Bowstead's got the ball. He's played well, Tony Ray, but he's kicked too much in general play, and most of the kicks have gone down Gary Jack's throat, and that's football suicide. Just hook with your feet, son. No need for you to kick. Ben Elias is an exception when it comes to hooking kickers of the football.
In possession now, North Sydney. Playing it back to John MacArthur, goes out to Clayton Friend, then on to Marr. He's going to be put down on the Balmain quarter line. Gets up now to play it
We've got Tony Ray into the dummy half position, looking for Clayton Friend. He's there, cops the football, goes out now to John Dorahy, then on to Greg Florimo, to Dorahy on the wrap around to MacArthur. He steps back inside, gives it out once again to Dorahy, but he's knocked down with one tackle left to go. Plays it just outside the quarter line, back to Clayton Friend. He's made a meal of it, put the football down on the Balmain quarter line.
Well, there was the problem for the North Sydney side with John Dorahy playing the football. They had nobody in there to kick. Clayton Friend was in the position but looking for someone else to do it, and as he took his eyes off the football, a pass came to him, and I think North Sydney are headed for a defeat today. They've put in the effort, but they're not going to get the points. Balmain, just a bit too much strength in the forwards for them when it matters in the second half, and they've got a replacement coming to the sideline. Have a go at Freddie Teasdale. I haven't seen him in the off-season, but he's got more hair than
I wish I had some of it. I don't know about that. I'm baldy on the top. Hope I can get a transplant.
The new Goldilocks of football.
Balmain in possession of the football, has gone back to Elias, out to Roach. Roach now is knocked to the ground. Will get up and play the ball 24 metres out from the Balmain goal line. To Elias it goes. Back now to young David Rolls. He stands. Had a look. Everyone standing flat-footed. No one coming through. One tackle left to go. Up the play it back to Elias. Elias now gets his kick downfield across to the wing of Andrew Simons. Takes it on the first bounce. Again with John MacArthur. Scott Gales up there. Gets around him. But old Frog's Eyes, alias Russell Gartner and Benny Elias put him down. Eaton Grass he is now as he gets up to play the ball. Back to John MacArthur from the back of the ruck again. He screams away, and another good tackle by Maguire. Peter over the top, ball and all.
Yeah, Greg, the game just keeps continuing to be played at a hectic pace, and we've now got 18 minutes left for play. Balmain, 12 points to 4.
Oh, post and sorry, Peter split him right open. He links up out wide. The Florimo takes it one. Oh, what a tackle! Who was that? That was Rossi Conlon. That was a great tackle, Peter. Mark that one down.
Yeah, certainly was, Greg. And there's another good one on by Kerry Hemsley on Mark Graham. I haven't seen Kerry Boasted run like that for a couple of seasons.
Somebody said he lost his toe. I don't think he's lost his toe. The ball has gone high, very high. Oh, Gartner, take a bow, Frog's Eyes. Great take under pressure. 5 out from the Tigers goal line.
Yeah, that certainly was, Greg. A very high kick and a good one by North Sydney. But Gartner, all the experience in the world, and Frog's Eyes stood his ground and took the take very, very well. Balmain forwards. Maguire's knocked on, and North Sydney now in an attacking position, only 10 metres out from the Balmain goal line.
And going back inside, North Sydney in possession. 15 metres out from the Balmain goal line. It's not Gavin Jones, it was
Gary Smith.
Yeah, Smith playing the football. It's gone again 10 metres out into a support player coming through as he gets up. John Dorahy plays it to Tony Ray, gives it out to Martin Bella. Good tackle too by Sirinen. Right around the legs to pull him down. Ray again a dummy half. 8 metres out now, the Bears, and big Mark Graham charges forward. Oh, what a tackle too from Kay Hemsley. Pile drives him, back he goes, flat in his bum. Now it's gone across to Dorahy. He puts it back up across the line. Balmain players going everywhere. Conlon cleans up in the in-goal area. And we go back to the quarter line. Oh, this is terrific stuff.
There certainly is, Greg, and good football by North Sydney to come back at the Balmain side. Freddie Teasdale coming on for North Sydney, and Gary Smith going off. So Teasdale on, Gary Smith off. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Sensational defence. Try-saving tackle by Conlon on Bowie. Just another one of a fantastic defence on the day. Hemsley again on Graham. Another try save.
Yes, Tony, you don't have to see a welter of tries to enjoy a game of rugby league. At least I don't. There's only been 2 tries scored this afternoon, but it's been a terrific game of football. Let's check the others. 4 footy tab on the National Panasonic scoreboard. Tony Peters at Caltex.
Cronulla 14, South Sydney 8.
And Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
Penrith 24, Western Suburbs 4.
Back at Leichhardt Oval, Steve Roach plays the ball 24 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Bad pass by Elias, but beautifully picked up by Ross Conlon on the half volley.
Yeah, tippy-toe stuff that, Peter. Great take by Conlon doing everything right, the Savo for the Tigers. Now it's gone across the Rolls once again. He stopped, came off that left foot, straightened up the play, but well and truly held. He'll play it now. Tony Ray was the tackler as it goes back to Elias. Out to Wayne Pearce, still pumping those legs. Pobgy now into the attack for the Tigers. First touch of the ball, Michael Pobgy for Balmain this afternoon. He's up to play it. Back to Elias. Goes across now to Rolls to Hemsley. Holds it up, coming through for Freeman on the burst. And he had a look back too for support. None available as Florimo decked him. It's gone now back to Rolls again. And another good-looking torpedo kick downfield. And I'm here to tell you it's a beauty over the touchline.
18 metres out from the Bears goal line.
He's had a very good game, David Rolls, a very tough little player. He's not overawed by the North Sydney size of their forwards. He was understudy to Peter Sterling at Parramatta, and he's decided that he didn't want to play reserve grade. And on this display today here at Leichhardt Oval, he certainly might have found a home here at Leichhardt Oval. Good kick, he's a good defender, and he's done well against Clayton Friend, who was a tough competitor.
North Sydney scrum win. Out it went then, into the arms of Florimo. He's up the plate to Teasdale, goes across to Friend. Back inside it goes to Marr, but Marr's wrapped up now centre field. Trapped inside his own quarter line as Hardwick's on, Peter.
Yeah, Warren Ryan's decided to match hair with hair, and it's certainly long hair for Freddie Teasdale and almost long blonde hair for Kevin Hardwick.
That's the go, and again, I wish I could have some of it. As we see Mark Graham going through, and he's not short of a few locks either, I might add. 32 metres out from the North Sydney goal line. Tony Ray at dummy half, again applying the pressure with that kick downfield, turning the Golden Blacks around, and that ball's going to go right over the dead ball line. Pete, where did he kick that from?
He kicked it from almost his own quarter, Greg, so that's very strong wind. And the scoreline here at Leichhardt Oval on that National Panasonic scoreboard is Balmain 12 leading North Sydney 4, sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Geez, Hardwick and Hemsley look like younger versions of Colonel Sanders.
We're into Chickadee chicken, son. Forget the rest.
Yeah, certainly this year.
The tap now. Out the rolls it goes, then once again into the arms of Maguire, and he's knocked down now 32 metres out from the Tigers goal line. Up the plat to Elias, goes across now to Conlon, back to rolls, a switch of play to Siren and drops his shoulder in. Florimo comes in over the top, Graham goes down low to add the extra weight, and down goes Big Ciro. Now it's played back to Elias, gives it out to once again Wayne Pearce, hits it up strongly out to Scott Gale, then on to Russell Gartner, desperately trying to stay in from touch. If they drag him over, they're going to incur a penalty, but they don't do that. Gartner's up the plate, back it goes to Rolls, over the shoulder of Benny Elias, who scrambles back, diving on the loose ball on his own quarter line, still maintaining possession, the Balmain Tigers. Roach at dummy half, unfamiliar in that position, but nevertheless a good pass. The ball's gone astray, and the referee says the knock-on has occurred just outside the Balmain quarter line.
Well, time running out now for North Sydney. They need a try in the next 5 minutes to even get back into this game. It's 12 points to 4 in favour of Balmain over North Sydney, and just 12 minutes left for play here at Leichhardt Oval. So Balmain are now ready to tackle for the last 12 minutes. Here's North Sydney winner scrum. MacArthur up the blind side, following an inside pass by Clayton Friend.
Yeah, and a good run too as it goes back now to Fred Teasdale, then across, then it went to Marr, back to MacArthur, steps off 1 foot, but again blotting the sun out over the top. Paul Sirenen for Balmain. It's gone back to Ray, out to Clayton Friend. Friend looks out wide. Oh, Ian French has gone without the pill. Frog's eyes picks it up. Gartner gives it out to Scott Gale, tries to come inside. Ian French does so, gets the ball back to Wayne Pearce, gives it back to Roach. Roach is flying down field. Oh, go Roachy, go son. But he's knocked down now 8 metres over the halfway line in North territory.
I must be dreaming. I thought I saw Steve Roach sidestep.
It's gone out now into the arms of Freeman. Back to Maguire. Back it went again, but he's put the football down. North Sydney's knocked on both ways, Pete. First scrum breach goes down 10 metres on the North Sydney side of the halfway line.
Well, this has been a blood and guts effort from both sides. Shame there's got to be a loser, and it's going to be North Sydney, I feel sure. Wayne Pearce has had a mighty second half here for Balmain. He's lifted the Tigers up, and there we see Steve Roach coming on strongly, backing up a break that was started by Scott Gale, and deep in his own territory, and there was Roach 50 metres upfield backing up. So the big fellow certainly putting in plenty of effort. So too is the rest of his side, as indeed North Sydney are. There's 11 minutes plus injury time left here at Leichhardt Oval, and it's Balmain 12 leading North Sydney 4.
Rolls again out to the man we just mentioned. Oh, great pass from Wayne Pearce out to Hardwick, and Hardwick busts him right up the centre. Well and truly into the North Sydney quarter line. And what a half he's had, Wayne Pearce. Elias now pops one up for Conlon, who's handling
forward pass
out to PUBG. He hasn't called it. It goes out to Scott Gale, and Scott Gale now has pulled down 5 metres out from the North Sydney goal line. Gary Jack dummies, decides to go on his own. Oh, he's only centimetres short of the Bears goal line. 1 tackle left to go, and Benny Elias puts up a kick. It's a beauty too, but it's going to be a Balmain try. Yes, it is. Balmain try.
Incredible try, that one.
Benny Elias
put the kick out
and scored.
And the North Sydney players have collided in their own in-goal area. John Dorahy and Greg Florimo have collided, a head-on collision, like a couple of billy goats on the side of Mount Kembla down there in Wollongong. And they've collided, and there was Benny Elias there to dive on the ball. An incredible situation there, and that's wrapped it up for the Tigers. 16-4. Greg Hartley, that kick went up, was a beauty from Elias, and the two North Sydney players have collided. They've hit heads, and Florimo and Dorahy, they're both on their feet, but they're feeling pretty dizzy, and there it is. North Sydney, I keep saying that they can find a way to lose a game. Two of their players turned into Billy Goats. They made a mistake, and I mean that because they were butting, not
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
derogatory sense. But that's just about the ball game now. That is the ball game. There's only 9 minutes left for play.
That's one of the most precision kicks I think I've ever seen put up. Remind me of Johnny Peard, the bomber. He could put it on a Zach in the in goal. Conlon, 10 metres out in front. Bam, bam, and thank you, man, for the extra 2.
18 points to 4. 5 out of 6 for Ross
Bam
Conlon.
Bam's back,
and that's a tremendous second half performance by Balmain. They led 6-4 at half time. Into the wind in the second half. And a good performance by the Balmain Tigers. And on for Balmain now in jumper number 17. I can't see who that is, Greg. Is it
I can't pick
David
him up.
Rose?
Oh, I'm not too sure, Pete, till I have a bow peep at the man. But Gary Jack has taken the football from the recommencement back in the in-goal area, charges upfield, pushes one or two aside, but eventually he's knocked to the ground.
Let's check the scores around the grounds. Tony Peters at Caldex Field.
South Sydney coming home too strong. South Sydney 20, Cronulla 14.
20-14. And a good comeback there by South Sydney. Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
Penrith has this one wrapped up at 28 to West's 4.
Okay, and it's Matt Parrish, Greg, in jumper number 17. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
It certainly is Matt Parrish. I think he's the younger son of Don Parrish, the
Yes, he
famous
is.
Australian fullback.
Yeah, he is, and Mickey Mouse will be here this afternoon. What a great player he was for Western Suburbs, both here in Sydney and down in Wollongong. And Matt Parrish is on for Balmain. The Tigers have it wrapped up by 18 points to 4.
And the kick downfield, 2 again from David Rolls. We watch MacArthur pick it up now, and Parrish is around his legs just like his dad used to go, right around the booties to pull his man down. He's up the plate, back with Andrew Simons from the back of the ruck again, and again Parrish goes low. Diving tackle to bring him down. Up the plate, back to Tony Ray, out to Martin Bella. In comes Paul Sirinen, again with Blocker Roach over the top to do their business.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous game, Greg, and our player of the match is difficult to pick, and it's got to come from the forwards. They've dominated this game. Dorahy, a good run. He's had a pretty strong game too for North Sydney this afternoon in the 5'8 position, and North Sydney have received a penalty. A Balmain player holding a North Sydney support player by the jersey. 7 minutes left for play here, and it's certainly going to be a comprehensive win to Balmain in a very tight game. 2 tries to 1 is the scoreline here, so that scoreline of 18-4, 3 tries to 1. It's wrong on the scoreboard there. 3 tries to Balmain, 1 to of course Ben Elias, and 1 to Scott Gale, and it's really been a tremendous performance by Balmain in the second half to notch those 2 tries. 2 tries to 1 is right.
Martin, are you sure?
Yeah, I think I'm sure.
Okay, Ray now gives it back to Clayton Friend. Out now to Freddie Teasdale. He's dropped the football, and Clayton Friend kicks it back. The advantage has to go to Balmain, hence the scrum will go down. That's good refereeing. Oh, no fisticuffs now, fellas. No fisticuffs now.
No, they're still hard onto the collar, but gee, it's been a tough game of football. Scotty Gale's just thrown the ball at someone. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Suppose it's the old cliche, but gee, there's not 18 points to 4 in this. North have played well. How stiff was that? They were under pressure, but 2 blokes colliding. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and there's Stephen Roach
pointing
at
to the
scoreboard to Big Martin Bella. They've been 2 big performers here this afternoon. Roachy being calmed down by Paul Sirinen, and Big Roach is looking and pointing up at the scoreboard to Martin Bella, who is still having a chat to his former Kangaroo teammate. There's been a lot of talking going on out there today, but they've matched up the talking with some rugged hits. This rookie referee, Peter Filmer, has certainly been thrown into a cauldron here this afternoon, and there's a penalty to North Sydney. Let's just again check those scores around the grounds on the National Panasonic scoreboard. Tony Peters at Caldex Field.
South Sydney 20, Cronulla 14, inside the last 5.
Inside the last 5, Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
Where Penrith is leading Western Suburbs 28 points to 4 with 5.5 to go.
Okay, just a reminder, the rugby league doesn't stop after the football. We've got Sportsline, and then Ray Warren and Dennis Ward from Lang Park in Brisbane for Manly versus the Brisbane Broncos, the final game of round 1 of the Winfield Cup. North Sydney still in there trying. They're down 2 tries to 1, but 18-4 on the scoreboard.
Mara at dummy half sends one out to Martin Bella, and you're dead right, Pete. They're still trying in there, the North Sydney Bears, as he gets up the plate. Tony Ray, an outstanding performance this afternoon from the Bears. Now out to Mark Graham, but his legs are cut from under him once again by Paul Sirenen. Ray again at dummy half across to Clayton Friend, centre field. The football now as it goes wide. Oh, and it's been put down this time, would you believe, by Ian French, but he dives on the football, forcing yet another scrum just outside the Balmain quarter line.
Greg, I've got no hesitation in our 2GB
I know who you're
Man of the
gonna
Match
say.
award this afternoon. 3 points to Wayne Pearce. I thought it was a tremendous performance by Pearce. 2 points to Benny Elias and 1 to Ian French. So 3 points to Wayne Pearce, 2 to Ben Elias and 1 to Ian French. And there've been a host of good players out here this afternoon. So Tony McGay, our sideline eye, will get Wayne Pearce after the game. Let's hope the kids don't run on the field. They normally do here, so
Yeah, they
it
do.
might be a bit difficult to get Wayne until he gets into the sheds. But 3 points to Wayne Pearce, 2 to Benny Elias and 1 to Ian French. And you people at home, mark those down. They'll come in handy for you later on. Keep a tally as Kevin Hardwick runs it out 30 metres from the Balmain goal line. Benny Elias
Gives it a beautiful pass back to Bruce Maguire. He split him up. Maguire gives it back now to Scott Gale. The head goes back. He picks up Roach again, who's out in the centres. Then on to PUBG. PUBG comes back inside one. He keeps it alive too, but it's a dud pass. Graham couldn't pick it up. 6 tackles to go. Wayne Pearce now picks it up. It goes to Conlon, to Gary Jack. Out now to Parrish. Parrish has taken over the top, ball and all by Greg Farimo. 1 tackle and the ball is kicked out on the ground too, I might add. No penalty scrum to go down. 10 metres out from the halfway line in North Sydney territory.
And Matt Parrish only on the ground for a few moments and maybe just played the ball a little bit rugby style there. It is a contest in rugby league. It is a ruck, and he's probably got to learn that. But a kick over the sideline there by North Sydney, but it's a scrum feed to the Balmain side. Just 3 minutes plus injury time left here at Leichhardt Oval. Balmain 18, lead North Sydney 4. Norths win the scrum. MacArthur makes inroads up to the halfway mark before he's well tackled by Ross Conlon and by Matt Parrish.
Yeah, gets up to play the ball on the halfway line. Back it goes to Dorahy. Good pass then out to Mar. Mar is always swamped by solid defence again from Wayne Pearce. A bone crusher in company with Kevin Hardwick. Now it's Tony Ray's turn. Martin Bella, to his credit, has kept going all afternoon like a loco. He's knocked to the ground now. Another good tackle by Maguire, Peter, right around the legs.
I tell you what, if you're a barber and you had to cut the hair of both these sides, you wouldn't be doing much business. I've never seen as many long hairs since the 1960s as what's out here today at Leichhardt Oval. Mark Graham, Kevin Hardwick and Matt Parrish. And, the long hairs go on and on and on.
And Simons, after a kick from general play, it went up very, very high over the head of Gartner and it bounced back into the arms of Andrew Simons. So now it's with Freddie Teasdale, and again Teasdale puts one up behind the back of the in-goal area and it's taken by PUBG, caught in the in-goal. So again, everyone races back to the quarter line. I do know one thing, if they did get into the barber shop, you'd be there all afternoon sweeping the floor up.
Would you ever? Here's the tap penalty, or the tap from the ball being taken behind the in-goal area, so it's a free tap from the quarter. Benny Elias takes it out. Let's just check the scores from the other grounds. Tony Peters at Caldex Field.
South Sydney 21, Cronulla 14.
Okay, Penrith versus West, Brian Surtees.
Yes, Penrith leading Western Suburbs close to full time, 28 points to 4.
Okay, back at Leichhardt Oval, going through the final minutes of play here, and Matt Parrish takes it up for Balmain towards the halfway mark in his own territory. Balmain 18, lead North Sydney 4 with just less than a minute to play.
It goes out now to Rolls. A good pass on to Wayne Pearce. He's allowed to stand. Offloads back now to Kevin Hardwick. Hardwick now is taken by Teasdale just short of the halfway line. Big Paul Sirenen now into the dummy half position. He's got men both sides. He elects to give it to Benny Elias. Benny Elias does a 360, a swivel across now to Rolls. Out to Conlon. Good pass on to Parrish. And Parrish has got a man inside. It's Maguire. Gives it back now into the arms of Gale. Then back to Wayne Pearce. And he's capped up a great game. That is a great try to Balmain Peter. Capped off by a great game from Wayne Pearce. Take me hat off to him. Great
Junior is laughing
Great
like he's enjoyed himself out there this afternoon, and well he might. Scott Gale involved. Good Balmain try, and that scoreline now 20 points to 4. And right on full time. Wayne Junior Pearce. Listen to the roar go up as the Balmain captain goes in for a try. Tremendous try. Good movement by Balmain. Wonderful support play. Good inside pass by Matt Parrish, who's just come on. And Scott Gale also playing well in that movement. And a tremendous Balmain try. Gee, they've turned it on in the second half here, Balmain.
I'll tell you what, if this was a television game, you just want to get a tape and play it every week.
Yeah, it's a brilliant game of football.
10 metres out there, Conlon does it again.
And Rossi Conlon, hasn't he started the season well?
Has he? What?
Ross Conlon has now got 6 from 7, so he started in much the same manner as he finished last year. There's full time. Balmain 22 have beaten North
24,
Sydney.
Pete.
Sorry, 24. No, 20.
24,
Yep,
mate.
24. Balmain 24.
Yeah,
The
4, yep.
We'll check that anyway.
I think I can count. You know, I
3
can't.
4s are 12 and 5 2s are 10. It's at 22.
Well, I've got 24 and I've added it up here. 4, 6, 10, 12, 16, 18, 22, 24.
Okay, 6 goals it is for Ross Conlon, so the scoreline 24 points to 4. You were correct, Greg. I stand corrected. 24 to 4 and a tremendous win to Balmain. The try scorers for Balmain, Ben Elias, Wayne Pearce and Scott Gale. 6 goals from 7 attempts to Ross Conlon. And for North Sydney, Ian French, their try scorer. Tremendous game of rugby league. And we've got Wayne Pearce, the Balmain captain and man of the match this afternoon. He'll be a happy boy, I'm sure. He's just gone in and scored the try. Congratulations, Junior. A tremendous effort by the side.
Thanks, Pete. It was a good effort. It was a great team effort. Unlike some games last year where we got a good lead and we sort of gave it away, the boys just kept on pushing all games, all day today, and we just wanted to show Warren Ryan what we're capable of.
Well, it was a tough game in the forwards, Wayne. A really awesome struggle up front, and it wasn't until around about 15, 20 minutes from the end that your 6 got on top.
Exactly, Pete. They're a good forward pack. They play a lot of their rucks through the forwards, and we were aware of that, so we had to try and match them, and fortunately we did. The guys, Ciro, Hemsley, Roachy, everyone in the forwards played well. Benny Elias, Brucey Maguire, and they're to be commended.
At half-time, you led 6-4, but you're running into the wind in the second half. What did Warren Ryan say at half-time?
Well, he just said that we had to just control the ball. We thought that they'd tire a little bit more quickly than what we would. They're a bit bigger. And we did control the ball pretty well. And we fortunately put together a few passes that made us a bit of ground as well.
It was a good old-fashioned game, Wayne, one of the best I've seen for a while, and what a mighty start to the year. I mean, there wasn't an inch asked for or given in those forwards, and North Sydney are going to cause plenty of teams, plenty of headaches this year on that display.
Oh, they certainly are. They're a big, strong side, well coached by Frank Stanton, so they are going to cause other sides trouble. They caused us a bit of trouble out there today, but fortunately we held together in the last, as you say, the last 15, 20 minutes.
Well, your front rowers today gave you good value. Roach and Hemsley, terrific games from them.
Yeah, that's what I said. It all starts up front. We fortunately we worked on our defence around the rucks, which had let us down in the trials, and it started it with the front row, Benny, Kerry Hemsley and Steve Roach, and we sort of blocked them out through there and had to try and make them go around us, and that's where we blotted them out wider.
Tremendous. Congratulations. 3 points in our Player of the Year contest. 2 went to Benny Elias and 1 to Ian French. It was a great game, and looks like it could be a good season for Balmain, Wayne.
I certainly hope, Peter. We don't intend to falter as we have done in the past, so hopefully we can keep the momentum up.
Well, good starts aren't new for you, are they? But you've got to get it going at the end of the year.
Exactly.
Congratulations. See you on Thursday night at Leichhardt Marketown.
Thanks, Peter, and thanks to the sponsors.
Okay, there's Wayne Pearce, and what a tremendous game by him, Greg Hartley, particularly in that second half. He lifted Balmain by the bootlaces. He said, come on, and that's exactly what they did, and he got tremendous support from the rest of the forwards.
Peter, he's an amazing athlete. He's just got so much ability. He works probably harder than anyone that we both know on his fitness, and good players always show up in the last 20 minutes of a game, and that's exactly what he did. Capped off a magnificent performance with a good try.
Okay, Tony Peters at Caltex Field. He got a full-time score there for us.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe this one, Peter. South Sydney have beaten Cronulla 21 points to 20.
21 to 20. What a humdinger of a game that sounds like.
I tipped that one too, Zorb.
Okay, Brian Surtees at Penrith Park.
Yes, it's all over here with Penrith running out winners by 28 points to 8.
28 points to 8. So full-time in those games this afternoon. South Sydney 21 have beaten Cronulla 20 after it was 8-all at half-time. Penrith 28 have beaten Western Suburbs 8 after they led by 20 points to 4 at half-time. Just repeating here at Leichhardt Oval, Balmain 24 have beaten North Sydney 4. Balmain 24 have beaten North Sydney 4. In reserve grade, it was a win to North Sydney by 16 to 8, and Balmain 4 beat North Sydney 2 in the under-21s. Uninterrupted rugby league this afternoon through 2CA in Canberra and 2HD in Newcastle. brought to you by Manchester Unity, City Ford, All Proud Home Improvements and the Sydney Sun. We'll take a break, come back with the summaries from the other grounds and some more dressing room interviews out of Leichhardt Oval. So stick with us.
City Ford is Australia's largest Ford dealer, and already they've sold more new Falcons than any other dealer.
Yes, yes, yes. City Ford says yes, yes, yes.
City Ford are the biggest because they've got the best deals, and they'll do their best to help you trade up to a fantastic new Ford Falcon. Test drive one today at City Ford, City, Mascot and Camperdown.
Yes, yes, yes. City Ford says yes more often. City Ford says yes more often.
It takes a top team to achieve success in sport or business. Through teamwork, All Proud Home Improvements were winners of the Hunter Douglas Distributor of the Year Award. Ray Shiner and his team can transform your home with the addition of a Flexilum screened room, patio cover or carport featuring the exclusive Nature Light. So why move? Just call Ray Shiner at All Proud Home Improvements on 750-5755 for a free measuring quote. 750-5755, open 7 days.
Manchester Unity have been caring for the health of Australians for 150 years. In fact, they were one of the pioneers of health insurance in Australia. So who better to look after your health insurance needs? Manchester Unity's rates are very competitive. Just a few dollars a week can get you a comprehensive plan and peace of mind. Why not give Manchester Unity a call on 267-8831.
Manchester Unity, caring for you.
OK, league fans, which is Sydney's #1 league paper?
Sydney's number one, that's the Sydney Sun.
The Sun is Sydney's #1 for rugby league, with our new 8-page zip out every Monday and our big sports lift out every Friday, featuring top writers like the great Wally Lewis. The Sun has more colour, more stories, more rugby league excitement. That's why it's #1.
Sydney's number one, that's the Sydney Sun. Sydney's number one, that's the Sydney Sun.
League 88 is brought to you by City Ford, Manchester Unity, the Sydney Sun and All Proud Home Improvements. Now it's back to Peter Peters.
Welcome back to Leichhardt Oval, where Balmain have beaten North Sydney 24-4. Let's go straight into our full-time summaries. Tony Peters saw a close one out at Caltex Field. Here he is with his summary.
Thanks, Peter. Yes, it was a close game, but despite the closeness of the scores, the match really didn't rise to any great heights here. It certainly was a forgettable affair. South Sydney 21 have beaten Cronulla 20. For South Sydney, there were 3 tries, one each to Ian Roberts, Phil Blake and Paul Roberts. Mark Ellison was on target with a boot. He kicked 4 goals from 4 attempts. Phil Blake potted the match-winning field goal. For Cronulla, 20 points. Sean Watson, Alan Wilson and Andrew Eddinghausen scored tries. Sean Watson kicked 3 goals from 5 attempts. Dennis Frico kicked 1 goal from 2 attempts. The scrums were 11-5 in favour of Souths. The penalties were 5 all. The crowd was 9,200. Well, the 9,200 people, I'm sure, went home a little disappointed with what they saw here this afternoon. It certainly looked exciting on the scoreboard, but it really wasn't in hindsight.